Alright, here we go with the first recap. So if you haven't done so, make sure to watch the video I did on how to practice your lessons, because it's going to go over like the basic principles we want to follow while doing this stuff. Like what happens when a mistake is made, always starting at 60 every day. You practice these things no matter how fast you got the day before. It's very important. Making sure you count out loud and all that good stuff. So yeah, when you can say these things out loud, it makes understanding and playing rhythms, even writing your own, way, way easier. Doing it just in your head is not the same thing. It doesn't work that way. So best to get in the habit of it now. Embrace the awkwardness, because it will be very beneficial. Because again, we are definitely going to do way harder stuff than this for sure. So when I'm tapping my foot, when the metronome is going pretty fast, I'll like tap my foot on every first and third beat instead of all four. Or another thing I'll do is I'll like alternate which foot's tapping. So like when I'm doing like really crazy fast stuff and I really need to make sure I'm locked into the metronome, I just go right, left, right, left, right, left. So this way I'm still tapping on the click. So that's another thing you could try if you feel comfortable doing it. Some people, it really messes them up trying to use 2 feet, but if you can do that, it can really help. So what I'm going to be doing is demonstrating the rhythms at some different speeds so you can hear and see how everything's supposed to go. I'm going to count off 4, so this way you can follow along and make sure everything's done correct. And good idea to just double check this video, make sure things are going correctly, going well throughout the week, because sometimes what will happen is someone will think they're doing it right, even if they watch this video or their recap, and then for whatever reason they start playing things a bit wrong throughout the week. So it's good to double check these things just to make sure you stay on track each day you practice. But yeah, always start at 60. We're going to ramp it up in 5s. Just like it says at the top of the page there, I'm going to work it up without the repeats first and then add in all those repeats like we talked about yesterday. In the video that talks about how to do your lessons, it does talk about an old way I had people do the repeats, which is play it twice, then 3 times, and then 4. Well, now we just go straight into the 4. If I ever want you to do it a different way, I'll let you know. Let's see. I think that covers basic idea of stuff. All right, so let's get into playing this. So again, I'm going to count off 4, starting at 60. So here we go. Number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, and 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4. So I just say done when I get to that last chord. No need to let it ring out all 4 beats. Turn this metronome up a little bit. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, and. All right, 120. So I'm just demonstrating different speeds. It doesn't mean you have to reach all the speeds that I do. I want you to get where you can. That's what matters. Get where you can, staying accurate. And yes, go up in 5s, not go up the speeds that I'm doing. If I went up in 5s for everybody's things, I would never get done. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, and 2, 3, 4, and 180. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, make it a rule to count out loud from 60 to at least 120. After that, if it's too much to count out loud, no need to do it. But if you can, very helpful. A lot of times I'll just kind of mouth or say really quietly a rhythm when it's going really, really fast. It's a bit easier to do at the fast tempos. 240, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. slow it down for the repeats. 200, 4 times through. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 2. We focus in on those, changing the chords on the upstroke or the upbeat. 3/4 time signature. I'm going to count off 3 this time. 1, 2, 3, 1, and 1, and 1, and 3. Yeah, I remember you mentioned the G string yesterday. If your strings do not have a wound G string, that might be a reason why the G string seems really weird. So, I don't remember what gauge I have on here. I think this is like maybe like a 10 through 52. But I have a wound G string. So the plain B and E, like normal. But instead of having a plain G string, I get a wound one. Now on standard tuning, a wound G string, like, good luck bending that. That's like damn near impossible. But on this, because of how low the tuning is, you can bend the G string no problem. So yeah, that's a suggestion to get like a bit of better sound and feel out of that G string. You want a pack of strings that has a wound G string, not a plain one. You want it wound. It works very well for the low tuning. All right, 120. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 180. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 240. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. All right, repeats. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Number 3. A couple different rhythms going on here. 60 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3. Sorry, that was a mistake. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 2, 3, 4, and 120. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 180. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 240. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeats. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes I get lost in how many times I've played one of those things. Like, am I on the third or the fourth repetition? So sometimes I end up doing 5 because I'd rather do 1 extra than 1 too little. Alright, scale stuff. We started looking at that. We make a little change here. Okay, so even though we're in B standard, we're just going to pretend like everything's in standard tuning, just kind of make it a little bit easier to learn the layout of the fretboard. So this way, when you do go to standard, if you do, it'll be, let me see. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it'll translate easily. And usually when people are talking about notes and whatnot, they're looking at it in terms of standard tuning. So yeah, the A minor pentatonic using those 5 notes, A, C, D, E, and G, and it just cycles through the same 5 over. And then, actually, let me open this up in a different program because I want to show you something. So all this stuff is connected. So when you're playing one shape, you're playing half of another. So, actually half of 2 of them. So when you look down here at this next one, let's move you up. And let's say we cut out the first note of everything here. And then we cut off the first note of everything here. We're left with the same shape, with the same set of notes there. And that's going to happen every single time we do that to 2 scales, or scale shapes. So we cut off the first note of each string here, and we cut off the last note of each string here. Once again, left with the same thing. So I said we're always playing like half of another, or like 2 other scales. So I'm going to zoom out a bit so we can see everything here. So like right here, we have like this part is half of this, and this part is the other half. See that? So those notes are those, and these notes go right here. So you're always playing half of 2 other scale shapes when you're going through these things. So remembering how one shape ends will tell you how the next one begins. So like when you're learning this guy here, and you go 5 to 8, well, the 8th fret is what's going to start the second shape. And this one's starting off 8 and 10. Well, the 10th fret's going to start the third shape. So it's all connected because it's all the same notes, just the same 5 notes all over the place. So paying attention to that stuff can be very, very helpful. With these shapes, another thing that happens is the low E string is going to be exactly the same as the high E string. So what you start with is what you're going to end with. So this starts with the 5 and 8, and it also ends with the 5 and 8. Where you say A and the C, ends with A and C. This one's 8 and 10, this one's 8 and 10. So the high E string and low string, or low E string, will always be the same. So this is going to be for like future reference, so you can see how the shapes all lay out in one thing. And we're going to do things to help memorize it all. Instead of just one shape at a time, we'll be going up and down several shapes, or really all the shapes, in various ways, so this way you can really learn that fretboard. So when you're practicing this, very important that you do one shape at a time, memorize one shape at a time. So first, you want to be able to play that first scale shape from memory, no problem. Once you can do that, It doesn't have to be fast or anything. It just needs to be correct. We want it memorized. So when you can do that from memory, no problem. Then you start working on memorizing the second shape. And then, once that's feeling good, make sure you can play both of them back to back before adding the third. So again, once you can do it like that, then you add in the third. Then a good thing to do is play the second shape and the third shape. So once the third shape is memorized, make sure you can go second shape, third shape. And then shapes 1, 2, 3. And then when you can do that, add the fourth shape. And then, once you can play the fourth shape nice and comfortable from memory, go shapes 3, then 4. Then shapes 2, 3, 4. Oops. And then from the beginning, shapes 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're going to learn the open position for that fourth shape. And then be able to go, basically just kind of work your way backwards again and again. So then once you got that, then you want to go here. Then and then shapes 2, 3, 4 up here and then open. Then shapes 1, 2, 3, 4 and then open. And of course, add that fifth one once you get all that memorized. So I like to kind of go backwards. So you got basically memorize shape 1, then shape 2, then be able to play shapes 1 and 2. Then you start memorizing shape number 3, and then be able to play shapes 2 and 3, and then 1, 2, 3. So this way you're not spending too much time with the same beginning shape over and over and over again. Because that's going to be the easiest one to get memorized, I feel. So I hope that makes sense. But of course, any questions come up, let me know. And as far as like video stuff, I mentioned it yesterday. If you feel comfortable doing it, you want to just record like the last practice session you have and just like upload it to YouTube or Dropbox, whatever, just so I can check it out. Most likely, I won't be able to get to it before the lesson starts, but we can start checking it out when the lesson does start. It's just if it's easier for you to just perform it that way, that's fine. But yes, you want to play in front of people on stage and whatnot, it is beneficial to just get used to doing it on the on the Skype session. And then keep track of how fast you get. So depending on how fast you get will determine what I ask you to play during the lesson. So always going to be starting off with reviewing what you did, making sure everything sounds and looks correct. But yeah, track how fast you get. Like you can just put it in Guitar Pro. That's what I like to do. Tracking my own stuff. Now, if for either 1, 2, and 3, if you're about to attempt 240 beats per minute, definitely start making a video right there. Because if you can play it accurately at 240, I say you're done. You don't need to keep working on that thing. 240, you are solid. No need to go any further than that. You could, for sure, but that's a decent cutoff point. You know you're done with it once you hit 240. Now, that doesn't mean we have to get everything up to 240. My main thing is just getting you used to reading, playing, counting all these rhythms, gaining control over everything. We will be pushing speed eventually. But right now, just learning how to do these new things having control over it. So again, get to where you can. You don't have to get to 240. Just get where you can and keep it accurate. There we go. Any questions come up, let me know. I will see you again next week.